Hi folks! Today we're going to go over 3 quick tips for making your documents more accessible to people with different abilities, needs, and preferences. This video will be useful for teachers, writers, office workers, and basically anyone who creates digital documents that other people use. Let's get started. Our first tip is don't show meaning with color. By this, I mean that color should not be the only thing that communicates information to the person reading your document. Let's look at an example. The creator of this chart wanted to show which states were included in their company's 3 coverage regions, so they gave each of the regions a different color, which you can see in the legend on the left. Right from the start, it's easy to tell Region A apart from the other 2. But the blue and green for regions B and C are hard to distinguish, especially on the non-bolded text outside the legend. I'm looking at this chart with 20/20 vision, and it's still hard for me to tell the difference between the blue Delaware and the green Florida. Because color is the only thing showing meaning, the meaning gets lost when I print the page in black and white. This could also happen if I'm using a high contrast mode or any other assistive technology that changes the display of colors on the screen to help me see. If I'm using a screen reader or another type of assistive technology to read this document, the information given by the color just isn't there. I get a list of states without any information about what region they belong to. So how can we fix this, and how can we make the colored table more accessible? Well, we can add another option in addition to color to show meaning. Here we added an asterisk, a plus, and a pound sign to show which region the states belong to. We still have color, but we're not totally reliant on color to communicate what we're talking about. We can also reorganize our data to show meaning in a different way and not just rely on color. Here we move the states into columns for the region they belong to. Another benefit of reorganizing the data is that when the color is removed, the meaning still comes through. One caveat: make sure that your table is formatted with headers so that assistive technologies know what's a category and what's information. There should be an option to add headers in your word processing application near where you create the table. Our second tip is to have a text alternative for any images you include in your document. Here's an example from a blog post about how to make a 2-layer cake with a jam filling. The body of the post says that the reader should spread their filling out correctly, like the image shows. But if anything happens that transforms the image, it might get harder to see what correctly actually means. Like in our previous example, if I print or view the image in grayscale or at lower quality, some of the information gets lost. If I'm on a low-quality internet connection, the image might not load all the way. I can't see how the filling is spread out, so how can I know whether I'm spreading it correctly? Even if my image loads all the way, it might still be unclear what the image is saying. Is the filling spread correctly because it's red? Because the layer's even? From this, we don't know. So how can we make this image more accessible? We can add an image description. This is a line or 2 of text that describes the contents of the image. People who can see the image and who know what they're looking for will be able to read the body text and move on with their recipe. But folks who either can't see the high-quality image or need more information about what they're seeing can refer to the image description for more information. We can also rewrite the body text so the image isn't the only thing communicating meaning. Instead of just saying the baker should spread the filling out correctly, like in the image, this recipe actually tells the baker what makes it correct, leaving the border around the edge to avoid leaks. Since the text is more specific, the image becomes another way to show meaning and enrich the reader's understanding instead of the only way. Our last tip is that document headings are your friend. It's important to use headings for your titles, section headers, and the like instead of just making your text bigger and bolder manually. And that's because these headings add data about the structure of your document that makes them easier for different programs to understand. You can find pre-formatted document headings on the Home tab in an app like Word. So how can headings help you write your documents? First off is navigation. Adding headings lets the user know where they are in the document and where they might go next. The second is for information processing. Giving folks an organizer helps them understand what types of information they're going to be exposed to. And headings can take some of the work out of formatting your document. Your styles will be more consistent, and in some word processors, you can even use headings to link between different parts of the document. Like if you had a table of contents or you wanted your students to refer back to another part of the syllabus. Here's where the heading options live in Google Docs. You can see that structure data in action here with the outline on the right side. Someone using assistive technology would be able to skip to the section of the document that they needed to refer to instead of having to listen or scroll through the whole rest of the document. One clarifying point, all of your headings should be nested in order. Don't skip a heading just because you don't like the formatting, because this will mess with all that great navigation data we learned about earlier. We can see this here. This outline skips from heading 1 to heading 3. If we don't like how the italics look on heading 2, we can change the formatting instead so that it's more consistent and the headings progress in order. I'll close with one last note. It's easier to make accessibility changes as you go than it is to revise and re-edit everything after you're done. Hopefully, you can apply these tips and create documents that are usable and accessible to a wider audience. Thanks for listening.